welcome again to another episode of Rebel Without a Scent. Today we're going to talk about recording a soundtrack in Garageband. That's correct. That silly little program that most people make little drum loops and stuff like that in. We're going to use that to record an actual soundtrack to a film clip. Now, the film clip we're going to use is a film that I've been working on for about 6 years now. I shot it in 2008 on a little HDV camcorder called the HV20. It's a simple little, well, not really simple, but it's a little vigilante film that I wrote and I tried to direct on a very micro budget, probably about out of pocket. It probably cost me about $1,500 with all said and done. And I've been trying to finish it ever since. It's got little problems with special effects and story that I screwed up on. But I'm going to use this today to show you the capabilities of using GarageBand to record to record a soundtrack. Because a lot of people are used to thinking that, oh, you need something professional like Logic Pro or Pro Tools or whatever, software is available. But I mean, GarageBand is really, really easy to use, and it's especially for simple stuff. I mean, you're not going to get like, a 24-piece orchestra or whatever, but you can get something very simple that's effective. One thing great about GarageBand is that you actually are not limited to the default settings. There are plenty of different software instruments that you can actually download and install. For instance, I'm going to be using a software called Bolt. It's BOLDT. They have created these instruments that are great. They actually sound like the real instruments, the pianos and the cellos and the French horns. I mean, they are just fabulous, and they're like available as a shareware. Usually you pay like 15 or I don't remember what it is now. I've had them for so many years, but they are such a great software to use. And again, with GarageBand, there's tons of drum loops and different sequences you can download to install into your library to just really expand your capabilities of recording different types of music. So let's get to it. This scene features the beautiful and multi-talented Nicole Crew, who later went to write and produce her own feature films. In this scene, Nicole is playing Mary Bell, who is a witch, and she is tapping into these ancient forces in which she gets a vision of Kevin, who was killed earlier on the film, and you see in his eyes that he was actually murdered by her brother. Recording a soundtrack in GarageBand is very, very simple. All you need to do is take your clip and drag it into the timeline or your project file here, and it automatically converts it, creates all the thumbnails and creates the audio, and then you just go from there. Even though in this video I'm not really teaching you how to use GarageBand, I just want to show you quickly how to pick your instruments. Here I am picking the cello from the Bolt instruments, like I told you earlier. And here we go down to the details, and this is where we can add different effects. Like here I'm adding compressor, and use a threshold, ratio, tag, and gain. I usually mostly use it for gain, because sometimes the instruments are kind of quiet. Here's a couple default settings you can use for certain things. You can see the different drums and different things to improve your instruments. And also another thing I personally like to use is a little bit of reverb to kind of fill it out a little bit more. And again, you have the different default settings, and here you choose from. I personally like, one of my favorites is Concert Hall for this kind of thing. And then here's like the original volume, reverb volume, color, reverb time. You can mess with that. And this is how I like to adjust my instruments. So the tone I wanted to create a kind of a ominous beginning. So I used these cellos with a very simple line. And then I needed to add a little bit more tension with adding these this piano piece, and then the melody changes in the cello. And to add the final element of intensity, I added this choir, this female choir, to add that extra layer.
To the powers of the north, the south, the east, and the west, guide me today and fill my spirit with your ancient wisdom.
Do you feel that queasy sensation in your stomach? That's your life's blood slowly draining away.
So, as you can see, GarageBand is very easy to use and very user-friendly. And you can still create a very effective soundtrack using it. Like I have used GarageBand for so many different things, just from just backtracks to videos online to I've actually recorded an entire soundtrack using GarageBand. I look up Rat Scratch Fever online, directed by Jeff Leroy. A crazy but fun B movie about giant rats invading the earth. And I created the soundtrack. Now he wanted kind of a mixture of rock and roll mixed with like kind of the sci-fi, and GarageBand was perfect for that. Different synth sounds, and I also used with that is I used the Line 6 port 2 or whatever it was, port X2, I don't remember, and used the Gearbox software, and also did mic the guitar a couple times. But it just created this weird, rock and roll psychedelic B movie. I don't know what I call it, but it was a pretty fun soundtrack to work on, and I did all of it in GarageBand. So check it out, and I hope this has been helpful. Just to know that you can actually create something effective and strong without spending a lot of money. GarageBand comes with iLife. You spend maybe $60 for iLife, and you got GarageBand, iMovie, iWeb. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff just great tools to use. So I hope this has been helpful, and let me know if you do have any questions about, what other things I do or other ways of using GarageBand. So have a great day. Okay, finally I'm going to close this episode with a piece that I composed for the film Rat Scratch Fever. The director wanted a soundtrack that was very similar to a mixture of like Brian Eno's 28 Days Later with some like more of this B-movie sci-fi original like weird synths and stuff like that. So it was kind of an interesting soundtrack to compose. This particular piece was meant for the opening sequence, and we later used something else. But in this particular piece, I used a couple different softwares that I installed in conjunction with GarageBand. I did use those bolt instruments for certain pieces or certain sounds, and I also used a software called Easy Drummer that was very plugged into GarageBand, when I was able to create some of those snare sounds when I wanted to build up the tension and certain cymbals and such. Anyways, also this particular track features the vocals of a good friend of mine, Krisha Saxon, who was gracious enough to sing for the soundtrack. And also, finally, when I finished the final recordings, it was mixed by a good friend of mine, Trevor Gertensen. So, anyways, enjoy it.